Hello, once again, you're welcome to Frontline TV. And as usual, today we're going to be taking a look at the leading stories making the Nigerian tabloids. And I do assure you that you're going to have a wonderful time listening to most of the headlines that will be coming your way from newspaper headlines. And also, whichever one that fits your fancy, you can just go over to your newspaper stand and pick a copy and get the full gist. It's newspaper headlines from Frontline TV. Musa Calvin is my name, your host. And today we're going to start with the Daily Independent. The Daily Independent leading story on the front of it, manufacturing sector bleeds as hot money floods Nigeria. 54% investment slump triggers fresh industrial push. And the top part of the Daily Independent says Tinubu's policies set Nigeria on path of economic stability, says IMPI. No attempts by Asu Rock chief to poison Tinubu, says the presidency, and Nigeria's e-visa system faces backlash over delays and charges. Federal government AFC seal $1.3 billion alumina refinery pact to power mining revolution. And also Trump says Iran leadership agrees to talks after US-Israel strike Tehran. And also hybrid transmission best for credible 2027 polls, reps and says reps and also the speaker. And also Serap urges FCCPC to probe Google Meta over privacy media concerns. Those are the leading stories from the Daily Independent. That is the front of it. And next is the Punch newspaper. The Punch newspaper, the most widely read newspaper, leading story, 2027 polls won't be 100% perfect. INEC chair warns. INEC review party rules as new electoral act sparks regulatory overhaul. Amopiton says network glitches, others hampered real-time e-transmission of FCT polls. PDP, ADC kickoff e-registration. APC mulls deadline extension. Now from the front, or shall I say the top part of the Punch newspaper, Army Major, 10 terrorists killed in foiled military base attack. Tinubu convenes police council today to confirm DSU. Iran-US conflict may rise Nigeria's fuel prices. And also from the bottom part of the Punch newspaper, FAA ends cashless policy. Rollout sparks airport gridlock. And also FGAFC in $1.3 billion mining investment deal. Those are the leading stories from the most widely read newspaper, which is the Punch newspaper. Now we're going to take a look at the Nigerian Tribune. The leading story from the Nigerian Tribune, Nigerians divided over opposition's rejection of new electoral act. It's too late in the day. Chekwais Okori, that's the person saying it. They are crying when the head is off, says APC. Right thing must be done, says NNPP. Turaki-led PDP sets 3 weeks deadline to complete digital registration. And also we are focused on Congress's Wike-backed PDP faction. From the top part of the Nigerian Tribune, real-time results transmission. What we learned from FCT polls, says the INEC chairman. US-Israeli-Iran war escalation may increase fuel pump prices. Manufacturing cost CPPE warns. And also 13 banks weigh last-minute mergers, private placements, foreign partnership options. Power sector debt to Gencos may hit 8.8 trillion naira by end of 2026. These are the leading stories from the Nigerian Tribune. Now we're going to move over to the Blueprint newspaper. The Blueprint newspaper, the leading story, Middle East crisis, protest in Kano, Niger, IGP orders red alert, AU ECOWAS caution, US-Israeli strikes claim 201 Iranians, 747 injured, Iran hits back, 3 American troops, 9 Israelis killed. Ramadan, 4 killed in Katsina food distribution stampede, and also 2027 will be the best election Nigerians will experience, says Amopiton. And then from the top part of the Blueprint newspaper, 2026 UTME, JAMB uncovers exam fraud syndicate, to sack 3 staff. Nigeria's debt will reduce to 35% GDP in 2026, and also Super Eagles friendlies against Jordan, Iran in jeopardy. Those are the leading stories from that end, and now we'll take a look at the front of Leadership newspaper. The leading story: evacuation of Nigerians not feasible because of missiles, says the federal government. While we included electronic and manual transmissions in Electoral Act, says the speaker. PDP ADC LP jostle for members begins e-registration, and also federal government spends 6.32 trillion naira on debt servicing in 9 months, and also video of attempted poisoning of Tinubu is fake, says the presidency. Group asks FCCPC to probe alleged violation of Nigerians' rights by Google and others. Sheikh Gumi, Iran's supreme leader, died a lucky soul. And you can see the pictures of the devastation in Tehran, Tel Aviv, Dubai, and also in Israel. 2027 elections will be Nigeria's best, says Amupiton. Daily Trust. It's now time for us to take a look at the front of the Daily Trust newspaper, the newspaper you can trust. Leading story says Iran strike fallout, Shiite protest erupt in the north, and also we may not be able to achieve 100% perfect election, says Amopiton. 4 die in Katsina Ramadan arms stampede. Chaos at Lagos Abuja airports as FAAN begins cashless policy. Banditry. Over 300,000 displaced in Niger, says Bago, that's the governor of Niger State. Those are the few leading stories from the newspaper you can trust. That's the Daily Trust newspaper. Well, I do sincerely hope that you've enjoyed quality time listening to some of the leading stories that made headlines in Nigeria and even beyond. So why not keep a date with us next time, where Frontline TV will be bringing you more of the gist, that is, newspaper headlines, the captions that also captures your fancy. Musa Calvin is my name, your host in the program. Thanks for watching. Do have a wonderful day. Bye.
Welcome to Picture Talk. Life is made up of movement, but most importantly, it's made up of choices. Some choices are small, some are heavy, and some stay with us longer than we expected. Today we're talking about choices and how it quietly shapes our lives. Let's start with this first picture. This image feels familiar. A pause, a decision, a moment before movement. There's something deeply human about standing at a crossroad. The stillness before a step, the quiet debate happening inside the mind, the questions, the doubts, the what ifs. Life rarely gives us clear instructions. There is no manual handed to us when we arrive at difficult moments. Sometimes both options scare us. Sometimes both options cost us something. And sometimes neither options feels completely right. Yet, we know we cannot remain where we are. There are moments when we wish someone else could decide for us. Moments when responsibility feels heavy, moments where desires to move forward. But here is the truth this picture gently whispers. Choosing is uncomfortable, but staying stuck has a cost too. Indecision can feel safe because nothing changes, but in reality, time is still moving. Choosing is still a choice, and delay can sometimes shape our lives just as much as actions. Growth often begins with courage, not certainty. You may not know where the path leads, but you will never discover if you don't take the step. Now let's move to the second picture. Every choice leaves a trace. Some consequences show up immediately, clear, visible, undeniable. Others are quiet. They take time to reveal themselves. They unfold slowly like shadows, stretching at sunset. This image feels quiet, but there is weight in the silence. Consequences are not always loud. Sometimes they show up as distance, as missed chances, as words we wish we had said, as apologies we delayed. Regret doesn't always come from bad intentions. Sometimes it comes from fear, from waiting too long, from shrinking when we, and yet this picture does not feel hopeless. It reminds us of something powerful: reflection. Reflection is not punishment, it is wisdom. It is wisdom forming. There's maturity in looking back and saying, I see it now. There's strength in learning without allowing shame to define you. Looking back doesn't always mean you failed. Sometimes it means you are becoming more aware. Sometimes it means you are evolving. Consequences teach. Reflection transforms. An aware picture. A plant growing through concrete. Someone walking forward, light ahead. This is where hope returns. Growth is rarely dramatic. It's not always loud. It's daily. It's choosing better. One step at a time. A plant breaking through concrete does not rush. It does not complain about the pressure above it. It simply keeps reaching for the light. That quiet persistence is strength. You don't need to have everything figured out. You don't need to move fast. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to keep moving. Growth doesn't erase the past. It's built from